what happens to the heart when we sin? I guess you could say today we're going to get to the heart of the matter. What is it that happens to the heart when we sin again and again and again? I'm going to give you my understanding of it, or my explanation of what it is that happens. And I have a whiteboard with me today. Some of you may be aware of the whiteboard that I bought a while back. I finally opened it up, and we're going to be using it for this video right here. So yeah, let's go ahead and get to the heart of the matter, shall we? Oh, and also, just putting this out there, this isn't a religious video. That's a joke. So let's explain what it is that happens to the heart as we sin. What exactly goes on? And this is my explanation of it. What we're going to do is, first off, we're going to draw a heart. Oh, wait a minute. The camera is on that side. So we're going to draw a heart. Let's put a heart right here. So, can you see that? This color is, I don't know if that's dark enough for you to, it's kind of hard for you to see that, isn't it? Maybe I should change to a darker color, because this one it's kind of hard to see. I picked this color because it's the closest color that I have to a heart, but apparently that color is not dark enough, so let's try this one. Okay, that's better. That's our heart. So we have our heart there, and have a little bit of red inside it, just because. Or this isn't red, this is kind of pink. So there is our heart. So now this is a heart that has not sinned. This heart here has never sinned. And this is what the heart looks like when it's never sinned. We can see it clearly. Okay, I think that's good enough for that. Perfect. So here we have a heart that has never sinned. You can see how red it is. If you were to touch it, well, hearts are soft, so should you touch it, it'll feel that, and it'll most likely react to it, because the heart has so many nerve endings. If the heart feels something, it thinks something, it wants to say something to you, to the rest of your body, it'll say it, and you'll be able to hear it clearly, because this is a heart that is completely pure. It has never sinned. So what happens when we sin? So let's say I'm going about my day and I decide to sin. I do something wrong. I say something mean to someone. Let's say that's the sin. I say something horrible to someone. What happens to my heart? Well, my heart here, now what's going to happen is we have a sin. We just committed a sin. So now let's go ahead and think of the heart being surrounded in let's say a glove. So I'm going to draw a layer around it. And this is not a part of the heart. This layer here this is a glove now. We have a glove that is now surrounding our heart. That's what this layer is. And that is the sin that we just committed. We said something not so nice to someone, something mean, something nasty. We said that to someone, and now our heart, we've sinned, and because we've sinned, this is what's around our heart. We now have our heart surrounded by a glove. Now, if you've ever worn a glove, which a lot of people, hopefully you're one of the people that have worn a glove before, because there are probably some people out there that haven't, you know what happens when you wear a glove. When you put on a glove, the sensitivity of your touch, it's no longer the same as you not wearing that glove. So everything that you can feel now, it has kind of been dimmed quite a bit, and you're no longer able to feel it how you were previously able to feel it. But the thing with the heart here is that we have to remember the heart communicates two ways. It doesn't just send things out, but things go into it as well. It goes both ways, the communication with the heart. We communicate into it, it communicates out to us. And when it's communicating out to us, we can say that's our conscience, or it letting us know certain things, to feel certain things. Yeah. So because there's now this layer here, we're no longer able to feel those things as much as we were previously. So I guess what you could say here is that our heart, because of this layer, it has somewhat been hardened. And because it's been hardened, we feel so much less. We feel less of everything. It's been somewhat desensitized. Now, the desensitization isn't immediate, but what happens is the heart is in here and it's beating, and after a little bit of time, it becomes desensitized to the fact that it is inside of this glove. And again, this glove is representative of the sin that we committed. And what happens is, as we sin more and more, well, we put on additional gloves around our heart. And what happens when you put on a second pair of gloves, or a third pair of gloves, or a fourth pair of gloves? Well, you feel a lot less. It becomes more and more desensitized, and less information, less feeling is able to make it in and out of the heart. So every time you sin, you're putting an additional glove onto your heart. Of course, seeking forgiveness and being genuinely sorry for the sins that you have committed, that can wipe away all of this. But if people don't do that, what's going to happen is they're going to continually accumulate layer after layer, and their heart will be able to feel less and less. It'll be able to send less out to them, and less will be able to make it inside. And they become more and more unhappy as that happens. And then before you know it, they're wondering to themselves, why aren't they able to find happiness in anything it is that they do? And the reason for that is because they've sinned so much, and they have all these layers around their heart, that things are having trouble making it in and out of their heart. They're still going about their life, it's just their heart has been so hardened that things, they aren't quite making it in or out of their heart. Now, different sins, the thickness, I guess we could say, of the glove depends on the sin that's committed. So if it's a really serious sin, well, this right here, this isn't for serious sins. These are just small sins that are slowly accumulating, and each one is adding a glove to the heart, a little layer, one by one. Now, if the sin is something major, let's say something like adultery, which is a major sin, well, what's going to happen is we're going to, instead of adding a glove, we're going to draw something else. Okay, so we've drawn something else here, and what I have drawn, this is not a glove. This is something else entirely. So this person has just committed adultery, or let's say they've committed some kind of sexual immorality. Now, I don't have a marker that'll properly fill in the entire thing, but you can see I'm trying to completely cover the heart and everything that you see here. So imagine this right here is an iron case, and you can no longer see the heart. Actually, we could just erase the heart, and that works right there. This is an iron case. Because of this sin which we have committed, our heart is now surrounded by this iron case. Before, with gloves, it was easier for things to make it in and out of the heart, but now that we have this iron case around the heart that's completely filled in, I know there are still white spaces, but just imagine it's all black because it's an iron case. Well, things making it in and out of the heart, compared to when it was just gloves, it's a lot harder for things to make it in and out of the heart now. So because these people have committed this sin, you've committed this sin, this serious, major sin, this is what happens to your heart. So now, while it was hard for your heart to send things out previously and to feel things previously, now it's nearly impossible for your heart to send things in and out. It's that much harder. It's not completely impossible. Your heart can still feel and it can still send things out, but it's a lot harder than it was when your heart was only surrounded by those plastic gloves. Now it's surrounded by this iron container, and well, as you sin more in this way, let's say you sin this exact way, you commit adultery again, well, we're going to add a layer to this iron container, and we're going to add another layer and another layer, and we're just going to keep going until the entire thing is filled. And this is, let's say this is someone committing adultery, and before you know it, the heart, which is, it's in here, but it's so deep down, the heart is so deep down it can't be seen, it's having trouble feeling because there's so many layers around it, it's surrounded in all these layers of iron. The heart has now been, it's hardened. It is truly hardened. Before, it wasn't hardened as much, there were just some small sins around it, small layers, and those were made out of, it was like a glove, it was like a layer of latex or plastic, but now it's surrounded in iron, because these are serious sins that have been committed. And well, all of the layers, each layer makes it harder for the heart to send things out and for things to make it into the heart. And the more layers you have, the more unhappy you're going to be, the more you won't be able to feel content. Things will not make much sense to you anymore. You'll have trouble understanding. Your conscience will not be able to send things out or receive things. And it's kind of like you're disconnected from yourself when you have so many layers to your, the more layers you have, the more disconnected you are from your heart. And so technically we could say it's almost like you're heartless. If you get to a point where you have this many layers on your heart, well, we could for the most part say your heart is so desensitized that you are heartless. And that's where, with these layers, that's where forgiveness comes in. See, if you seek forgiveness and you are genuinely remorseful for the sins that you have committed and the wrong things that you have done, you are genuinely, you regret it, and you're remorseful, and you're sorry. And sorry isn't just a word. Sorry is much more than that. Sorry is, it's feeling remorse and regret for all that it is that you've done, for the hurt that you've caused, the pain that you've caused. Well, if you seek forgiveness and you truly mean it, you truly regret what it is that you've done, and you're truly sorry for it, sorry is not just a word, then what happens is all of these layers, they get cleansed away, and your heart can be seen once again if all these layers are cleansed away. And things can easily make it in and out of the heart when all the layers have been cleansed away. Your heart can communicate with the you on the outside, and the you on the outside can communicate with the heart. And of course, there's communicating with God. Each layer makes it harder for you to communicate with God. But now that your heart has been cleansed, and it's that much easier for you to communicate with God, and for God to communicate with you. So that's what happens to your heart as you sin, as we sin. Well, that's my explanation anyway, of what it is that happens to the heart as a person sins more and more. And see, we're back here now to a heart that is completely pure. A heart that can communicate with God easily. It can communicate with you easily. I mean, you are your heart. Your heart is a part of you. And it can communicate with the hearts of others easily. It's easily able to communicate with all of these hearts, because this is a heart that isn't hardened or shrouded in sin. It's able to communicate freely with the hearts of others, the heart of God, and you. Yeah. Now, of course, other people can have their heart hardened, so I'll just do that to symbolize some other people whose hearts are hardened. And, well, it's basically the same thing. Well, there you go. That's my explanation of what happens when we sin, when you sin. That's what happens to your heart. Hopefully that's my explanation of it. Be well and go in peace.